One Piece chapter 1133. Long summary, full spoilers chat. How is everyone doing? I see all the salutes in the chat. If you dropped a salute in chat and you know that I didn't say anything about saluting, you're a certified real one. Okay? You know we gotta represent today. You know we gotta represent for the big Nika, big PK, the big Pirate King, big Joy Boy. Chat, how is everyone doing? Shout out to everyone who's dropping salutes. You guys know exactly how we are over here. You guys know exactly what it is. Chat, how is everyone, chat? How are we doing? I hope everyone here is having a nice morning, day, or night, wherever you guys are. Chat, how are we feeling? Comment down below. Okay. I'm glad to see you doing good, bro. Welcome in, King. Young King. Okay. Glad to see you, bro. We got Maya. Welcome in. Of course, you got Wung Woki, the lurking legend. Is he even a lurking legend? Because he's just kind of upfront with it, bro. Like, a lurking legend would be someone like, Scopper Gabon. You guys know Scopper Gabon when he drops through in the stream sometimes. That right there, that's lurking. That's the lurking legend. Smokey, he's like Goldie Roger. L, that has to be Garp, bro. I'm sorry. Smokey is likened to Goldie Roger. L is likened to Garp. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad to see you guys here, chat. How is everyone, man? How are you guys feeling today? We're gonna go over these spoilers here shortly. Door handle, welcome in, bro. Egum, what's up, bro? My brother died today. I'm not doing good, but I feel better since you're streaming. Oh man. Listen. I don't want to get too personal. I don't want to get too emotional or too wrapped up and make anyone here feel uncomfortable. But chat, can we just drop some love for, and let me know if I'm pronouncing the name right. You know I can't read, right? I can't read English. I can't speak English. Can we just drop some love to Yigum? Can you guys just do at and let me know if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. Can you guys just do it at Yigum or at Yigum and just drop him a heart, drop him a praying hands emoji. Yigum, we will be praying for you today, praying for your family, your friends, your loved ones, everyone in your circle and everyone around you. I'm sorry to hear, King. That sounds very tragic. That sounds very heartbreaking. And I can't understand where you're coming from. I'm not you, but I do know that that is something extremely hurtful, extremely heartbreaking and tragic. And Yigum, I am very sorry to hear this. May God bless you, your brother, and his friends, your loved ones. We'll do a prayer for you today. We always do prayers before we jump into the spoilers. I'll make sure there's a segment for you, but before we get into that, because I don't want to like push this away, just stay strong, bro. Stay strong. Let these emotions come in. You know, don't push them out. Don't try to sweep it under the rug. Let them come to you, bro. Don't push it away. Just let it come to you and let it out. Just be natural with it. Let the emotions hit you. Absorb all of it and just flush it out. You know, go through a healthy mourning and grieving process, because I do love you and I care about you, bro. And we'll get back to that. We'll make a prayer for you, okay? My condolences. I'm sorry to hear that, brother. But I'm glad that I can help you in some way. I know that you enjoy the stream. That's great to hear. But you know, I can't, for you guys in your lives, there's just certain things I'm not able to do, and I really wish I was able to do. But I'm gonna try my best to give you some great content today, bro. I'm gonna give you some love and encouragement. We're gonna have some fun. We're gonna cook some theories. L's gonna call me St. Charlos. I'm gonna call L. What are we gonna call L today in Smokey? What are the jokes on them today? How are we gonna roast them? What did I call L last time? I compared him to somebody in One Piece, but Egum, stay strong, bro. And we got Concept. What's good, brother? Michelangelo, was good, King. Glad to see you, bro. Gambit, welcome in, bro. Maya, what's up? Am I missing anyone? Artie, what's good, bro? Glad to see you. We got L with the 5 gifted. Already starting off strong. Thank you so much, L. Young King coming through, starting strong with the 5 gifted. You guys better say, I want to see some thank yous. If they're in the chat right now, Cash, look at that. You got a membership from L's hard-earned cash, okay? Donnie Dawson, congrats. Blake, congrats. Viswa, congrats. Jin, congrats. Look at these gifted. Look at L being such a nice, sweet guy. W gifter, W supporter, W friend, W chatter, W OP fan, W man. You called me that guy with the afro inside the treasure chest. The guy with the afro inside the treasure chest? Are you talking about Gaimon? No way I could compare you to the man, the myth, the legend, Gaimon, bro. See, if I was gonna call you something, I would call you something out of disrespect. Cause L, I have no respect for you. You are less good than what's at the bottom of my shoe. I would never compare you to Gaimon. Why would I slander Gaimon like that, man? Come on now, bro. I'm just kidding, man. But thank you, L, bro. Thank you so much, bro, with the 5 gifted. I greatly appreciate it, King. Guys, so who has read the spoilers so far? We got a few votes. If you guys read the full spoilers, I need you guys to vote, okay? If you guys already went ahead of me, because you guys know how we take our time, we digest our meal. We chew on the spoilers. To those of you that have already read it, what are we rating these spoilers, okay? What are the ratings? It looks like 85% of votes is giving this long summary a 10 out of 10. Now L and Smokey, if you guys have read it already, I think Smokey said something about him reading it. L, let me know if you've read it, bro. L and Smokey, because you know okay, as I've always said, Smokey's my right hand man, L's my left hand man. What do you guys give the spoilers? Are these guys glazing? Just be honest. 86% of the votes is a 10 out of 10. Are they glazing? L, I need to know. L said, I still think Gaimon is foreshadowing something. Yeah, 100%. I think Gaimon, remember my Roxy Buggy video? I think the title of the video, I called it Buggy D Crown. I think, like, if you go and watch that video, I talk a lot about Gaimon, and that paints the picture for Buggy and why he's the son of Zebek. But yeah, Buggy is definitely showing the character, or Gaimon is a huge piece to the puzzle of Buggy, because we know that with Gaimon, he was a character that was chasing a treasure chest. His goal, his ultimate goal, was to get on the cliff and to reach the treasure chest. That can be likened to characters such as Luffy, who are striving to get the One Piece, you know, at the pinnacle of the world, right? And especially now we know that Cross-Guild and Buggy, they are seeking the One Piece. But if you look at the story of Gaimon, when Luffy got to the treasure chest and he opened it and realized there was nothing there, that was pretty much the end of Gaimon's goal. And we know Luffy ended up leaving, Luffy left the island, and later on in the story, Buggy ran into Gaimon. So we have to wonder, why would Oda give us this story about Gaimon, then follow it up with Buggy meeting Gaimon? What's the deeper connection here? What is this alluding to? I think this is alluding to the idea that Buggy is constantly chasing a treasure just like Gaimon. Gaimon's chasing the treasure on top of the cliff, knowing and then realizing it's empty. I guess he said that he knew it was empty, but realizing that it was empty. And I think that's going to be likened to how Buggy is constantly chasing Captain John's treasure, but he's going to realize there is no treasure. And the reason why Gaimon is chasing a treasure chest with no treasure, and then that would be likened to Buggy chasing Captain John's treasure where there is no treasure, is because Buggy himself would be Captain John's treasure. And why would he be Captain John's treasure? Because Captain John would have been in charge of protecting Buggy, being that Captain John was a member of the Rocks Pirates. Are you guys following along?
Cook. Let him cook.
Captain
now.
John, being entrusted in the Rocks crew, would have had to take care of Buggy. And Buggy, being the son of his former captain Zebek, would make Buggy the Captain John's treasure. And we see all throughout One Piece that treasure can be whatever people value. It's not necessarily gold, a poneglyph, an ancient weapon. We see that there's all forms of treasure and valuables in One Piece. So I think what the point of Gaimon is to show that how Gaimon was chasing a treasure that couldn't be attained because it didn't necessarily exist. That's going to relate to how Buggy is chasing Captain John's treasure, which doesn't naturally exist. It doesn't he can't inherently obtain it because he himself is that treasure. But Smokey, what's good, bro? He said, I can already tell this is going to be a beautiful chapter. I can't wait for the panels from the GOAT. This is good. This is a good week to read Raws. Is it a good week to read Raws, chat? Is this a good read or read? Is this a good week? Is this a good week? Is this a good week to read the Raws, chat? I gotta know. Damon, what's good? But yeah, you guys know we've been speaking on how the spoilers, or I guess the chapters, some chapters are for the head, it's for the theories, it's for the cooking, and other chapters are going to be for the heart. It's going to be emotional, you know? And when we were reading the short summary, I was already calling it. Smokey, we were calling it. That this is going to be one of those chapters that feeds the heart, one of those emotional chapters. I mean, everyone knows that we heard about Robin's backstory on O'Hara, lining up with Saul, back in Enies lobby, right? So this has been gradually built up for... When was Enies lobby, guys? When was Robin's flashback? Does anyone have a guesstimate? What chapter was that? I think it was like the mid 500s when it was Marineford, or at least the end of Marineford. Mid 500s, new Shabandi, Return to Shabandi. So when would Enies lobby have been, chat? 350, 360? That would mean around, give or take, 700 chapters waiting for this, chat. 700 chapters. Most manga don't even last 700 chapters. The time we've been waiting to see Robin reunite with Saul is a longer period of time than most manga even exist. I think it's between the end of 350 plus and before 400. Yeah, it's somewhere around there. But even if you want to be, let's say we're going to be a little generous with it and say 400, 450, that's still 600-700 chapters, right? Okay said Robin met Saul in 392. Yeah, so do the math. We're in 1133. What was that? 43 chapters, about 743, 741 chapters around there, right? 741 chapters of building this up. If I did my math right, I probably don't know how to do math. I'm second in command for Vasco Shot. What's good, Maximo? What's good, Gutanks? What's good, Mash? Glad to see you guys. But yeah, anyways, I'm excited to read this chapter. Even if this chapter is mostly emotional, it's mostly with the panels, actually seeing Robin and Saul and they're crying. The spoilers isn't going to be able to do it enough justice, because that's just it's just something we have to see. Whereas like there's chapters that give us a lot of information, you know, chapters that are for theorists, right? The panels, they help, but you're getting most of the reward or the information from the text of the spoilers. Whereas the panel or the chapters like this, panels of emotion, the spoilers in text won't do it as much justice. So I'll keep that in mind, guys. I'll keep that in mind. We're only going to be reading text here. We're not going to be looking at panels, but yeah, we're going to start here in a few, guys. Have I missed anyone in chat? Yegum said, you got it right. Thank you so much, my man. You're my favorite content creator by far. Thank you, bro. Much love, man. Hey, Gambit, what's good, bro? Sway, we got young Sway in the building. All right, so it looks like the ratings is still about the same. 78% of people are giving it a 10 out of 10. Nobody's rating it a 7. There's probably one person that rated it a 6 or an 8, I mean. All right, I'm expecting, chat, I'm expecting a banger chapter. To those of you that rated the spoilers a 10 out of 10, I better not be let down, okay? I better not be let down. Chillin' bro playing Tekken 8. Man, I've only played one Tekken, and it was on the PS3. I don't even remember which one it was. I think I was playing like a trial version of it. I never really got into Tekken, bro. Tekken, not Tekking. Whoa, time out. Time out. I didn't mean to say I never really got into Tekking. I didn't mean to say that. Time out. I meant to say I've never really gotten to Tekken. I gave this one a 9 out of 10, but with the reunion, it's a 10. So are you saying that are you saying without the reunion, it's still a 9 out of 10? This chapter still stands strong even without the reunion. Also, chat, don't spoil me, but we were talking about this yesterday. Read on posted a hint of Jesus on the cross. And when we read the short summary spoilers, that hint of Jesus on the cross didn't relate to anything in the short summary. So my question to you, chat, without you spoiling, is the hint of Jesus on the cross going to be shown in the long summary spoilers? Don't spoil me, just say a yes or a no. Don't tell me yes because blah, 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 blah. Okay says yes. I ain't mad at the votes. The splendor of Elbath is amazing. Okay said I might have heard you wrong. There's something to do with the cross. Okay. Well, that's so funny. I'm not even saying your name like okay. I'm just saying okay because I talk like a weirdo. Okay. Maya says yeah. Okay, I'm excited. I want to see this cross reference. We know characters like Yasui and Wano literally got crucified. I'm curious to see what Oda's going to do with the cross here, and I think Joy Boy is going to be another character that died on a cross. I think like these cross references in One Piece are alluding to Joy Boy. Simon was good, bro. It's good. Smokey said 15 to 20 years. I just really can't imagine. I can't imagine being Oda writing this story for. Has he been writing this story for the majority of his life? Has anyone like done the math? Can anyone like confirm? Go look up Oda's age and look at when he started One Piece. Has he spent more time writing One Piece than not writing One Piece? Could you just imagine like writing the story for like the majority of your life and you're building up to these crucial moments, going to Elbaf, meeting Vegapunk, Saul and Robin reuniting, Luffy getting Gear 5. Could you just imagine, dude? So Door Handle said 2024 to 1997. That's when he started. So when was he born? He was 18. Yes, so if he was 18 when he started One Piece, and we know that One Piece is what, 25 years running, then that means he spent more time in life writing One Piece, not like physically like at a table, but he spent most of his time of life writing One Piece than living. That is insane. I'd be wondering if Oda is low-key a Christian. It's tricky because Oda does have tremendous influence of Christianity and he plugs it into One Piece. But that doesn't necessarily make him Christian, you know? Because we all know, I've spoken on this a gazillion times or 6 gorillion times. Oda has referenced things like Hinduism many times in One Piece. Oda has referenced Roman, Greek mythology many times. So it's kind of tricky, you know? I guess the best argument you can make is like, okay, what are the core themes of One Piece? What are the core inspirations? You know, what is this largely built off of? And I think like to me, it's like obvious what the core structure is. It's basically this guy who changed the world. He led a kingdom. He was even perceived as the sun god or the son of God, the god of the sun. He was like this hero, the savior. He was killed. They wanted to hide all the information about him. Now he has returned. That being Luffy, now he has returned. And he's here to save the world. That's essentially Jesus when he came down and had his earthly ministry. He was crucified. They wanted to hide all the information about Jesus. We know early church fathers had to go into hiding. They had to write letters and protect the letters with their life. They were all martyrs. And we know in the book of Revelations, Jesus will come back to save the world. So I think at the core of One Piece, it's extremely similar to Christianity. But of course, that doesn't take away from the Greek mythology, the Hindu mythology. I'm actually kind of surprised that, as far as I know, I haven't seen anything in One Piece, and I've asked my chat this multiple times. I don't see any Islam inspiration in One Piece, like anywhere. Isn't Japan like 95% either Shinto or Buddhist and only like 1% Christian? I have no idea. That's probably true. I don't know. I think I heard something about the Christian population growing. I don't know, dude. I honestly don't know. But that would be weird though. That would be kind of funny that like let's say you're right 1% of Japan is Christian, and then Oda is in that 1%. Fun fact, Oda started the prototype of One Piece with Garp being a pirate and Luffy wanting to be a marine. Nami had blue hair and a different design. He called this Romance Dawn. Yeah, Young Smokey's right, guys. Yeah, Young Smokey's 100% right. The prototype to One Piece, it was like a prototype manga. You could go read it online. It exists online. It's called Romance Dawn. Not to be confused with the actual legit One Piece Romance Dawn. It's like a prototype of One Piece. And I've used it in videos before because it shows you what Oda's initial ideas for the story was. And if you read Romance Dawn, I mentioned this in videos to bolster up arguments. In the original prototype, Romance Dawn, which was the prototype to One Piece, they said that the devil fruits, or like the legendary devil fruit, is harvested from the illusion tree. So before Oda officially published One Piece in Shonen Jump, when he made his prototype, Romance Dawn, he was saying that devil fruits come from the illusion tree. And I think he said it's like every 500 years or every 1,000 years or something like that. Have you read the One Shot for Yuma? I have not read the One Shot for Yuma. Should I read it? Mazlin, is it Mazlin? What's good, bro? He said Luffy will use weapon in Elbaf like Sun God Nika. I don't know, man. It's tricky because Luffy, you know, Luffy's always been that guy, like punch, kick, punch, kick. And even when Luffy has picked up items and weapons, he'll grab the weapon, but then he'll still punch the person anyways. So I don't know. He could pick up a spear, kind of like how the Nika silhouette, it looks like he's holding a spear. Luffy will pick up the spear, but still punch the guy anyways, and not necessarily stab him. All right, guys, it's time. Let's do a quick prayer, and we're gonna jump into the spoilers. Okay, guys, we're gonna do a quick prayer, and we're gonna jump into the 11:33 long summary spoilers. All right. Let's do a quick prayer. To those of you that are Christian, bow your heads with me. I'm going to do a quick prayer. Get this show on the road. Dear Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. My Lord and Savior, my God, Jesus Christ, the triune God, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, thank you for giving me another day of life. Thank you for giving me food, water, shelter, protection, guidance, courage, bravery, strength, resilience. Thank you for the endless list of things that you do for me. Lord, I cannot fully explain how grateful I am for not only your existence, but everything you've done for me in my life. Lord, I come to you today in repentance. Lord, I repent for my anger sometimes. I repent for my foul mouth that I could have. I repent for not trusting in you more. I repent for all of these things that I am ashamed of, Lord. And I seek your forgiveness, and I seek your righteousness, and I seek your just attitude to help heal me and change me and to become a better leader, a better man, a better boyfriend, a better husband, a better friend. I seek your guidance and your help, Lord. I repent for all of the mistakes I've made all across my life. Lord, I come to you today to ask you to be there for Yigum. Be there for Yigum official, Lord. He lost his brother, and this is something beyond tragic. This is something that I could not completely understand. This is something that is beyond detrimental to the mind, body, and spirit. So Lord, I ask you to make your presence known to Yigum. Show him your truth, show him your love, and guide him to go through this mourning and grieving process, because Lord, he needs your help. I pray and I ask that you please take care of him. Please take care and guide everyone that's around him. Help him through this mourning and this grieving process. All of his friends, all of his family, anyone that's in his circle that's grieving and mourning with him. Please be there for them, Lord. They need you. We all need you on this earth, on this wicked planet. And I trust that you'll do this. I trust that you'll show up and take care of Yigum and take care of everyone in that surrounding area. I trust that you'll do this because you're a loving God. You've never turned your back on me. You never gave up on me, and you would never give up on any of us because you love us and you gave us the free will and you gave us the option to love you or not. And you loved us no matter what, and you sent your son to die on the cross for our sins. You sent him to die for us because you love us. And Lord, finally, I ask that you protect everyone else in this chat, everyone else watching the stream. Please guide them, Lord, every single day. Help guide each and every one of their steps. Give them strength, give them bravery, give them courage, give them resilience, give them love, give them patience and understanding and compassion. Give them everything so that they may do your will and not their own. Let your will be done, Lord, not mine. Thank you for all that you do. I yield all my plans and all my strength and all my worries and all my depression and all of my anger and all of these things that hold me down and chain me down and keep me in bondage and in slavery to sin. I yield everything to you because I trust in you, Lord. And I know that your plan is the best plan, and your plan is what we should be following because you know what's best for us as you created the universe. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. Now, chat, now it's time. Now it's time for the long summary 1133, baby. Let's go. We see, bro, when you pray, bro, and you have this communication with the Lord, you just get filled with the Holy Spirit, chat. You just get filled and embodied, chat. I feel like I can lift up a bus, bro, and just whoa. I feel like I'm Jesus Burgess, bro. No pun intended. After I pray, I feel like Jesus Burgess. I can lift up a mountain, bro. Let's go. Oh, look, Dawn of Ascension with the super. Dawn of Ascension, we love you. We have a special love for you. Mwah. Mother Dawn, our condolences and sorry for your loss, Egum. He's resting in a peaceful place. May the Lord keep you and your family strong as you grieve. The chat loves you. Yigum, we love you, bro. We love you. I'm going to give you some great content, bro. I'm going to give you some great encouragement. I'm going to do everything I can because Yigum, I love you. And the only thing I want in return is for you to be happy. That's all I want, Yigum. You don't gotta like, you don't gotta subscribe, you don't gotta super chat. Forget all that, bro. I want you to be happy, Yigum. I love you, bro. We all love you. Time to have a great stream, bro. Time to enjoy some One Peak. Time to keep our chin up and be thankful for this peak content we're about to get. Dawn of Ascension, thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you for the encouragement in the super chat, in this loving message. I'm sure Yigum appreciates it. Shout out to Yigum. Shout out to everyone here. Lucas, what's good, bro? Jordan, what's good? Eric, Young King, Eric Hernandez, what's good, bro? Meow, what's good? Haven't missed anyone. We got, bro, I always see you in chat, and every time I see you, I gotta ask how to pronounce your name. Dame LaFello. Is it Dame LaFello? I probably butchered it so bad. What's good, man? Concept, what's good, bro? All right, guys, no more delay. Without further delay, One Piece 1133. It's long summary spoilers, chapter title, Please Praise Me. Hey, the Lord is speaking to me through this chapter title. Gabe, what's good, King? What's good, Gabe? Mellow Fellow. Oh, DeMello Fellow. DeMello Fellow. That flow's so good, bro. DeMello Fellow. I'll say DeMello. Or do you like being called Mellow? Because I could say DeMello Fellow. Or should I just call you Mellow? All right, guys, without further ado, chapter 1133. Please praise me. Ogre Child Yamato's Golden Harvest Surrogate Pilgrimage, Volume 20. Hold'em appears and takes Tama hostage. Hold'em looks the same as he did last time we saw him in Wano Kuni. Speed is lying on the ground and defeated, and Yamato looks surprised. Okay, guys, listen, man. Can we just say gas or trash? Can we get a gas or trash for this cover story? You guys know when we did the short summary, was it yesterday? The short summary stream? I think it was yesterday. When we did the short summary and we read this, it's just, guys, like, we know how to be patient, right? We know how to be patient with Oda. We know how to just say, yo, let's just let him cook. But sometimes I think as a One Piece fan, you're allowed to just come out and just say your opinion, right? You can't always support everything. You're at the end of the day, you have your own opinions. And with something like this, it's like it's been 20 volumes of the cover story. It doesn't feel like anything has happened. It's just Yamato's walking around, okay. There's some people going missing, some random fodder that no one cares about, no one knows their names. A sword goes missing. And now we see Hold'em. It's just like, Oda, we're trying to trust you. We're trying to be patient, right? We're not trying to rush you. We're not trying to push our own agenda. But, I mean, it's volume 20. It's volume 20 now. And I don't know. Chat, what do you think if Blackbeard arrived in this cover story and attacked Wano to steal Pluton? Do you feel like that would save the cover story? Or would you still say, like, no, the cover story, like, the whole beginning of it was trash and then Blackbeard made it better? Or do you think, like, no, that, like, Blackbeard arriving would just make the whole cover story much better? Like, what is your guys' way of viewing this cover story? How do you guys perceive this, or how would you guys perceive that? What do you guys think about that? Karu, what's good, man? No notification that you were live. Man, Karu, I don't know what YouTube's on, bro. L always says the same. I think today, though, L said, like, this was one of the only times he had the notification sent to him. But I don't know why YouTube is like this. Like, people are subscribing, and a lot of people are hitting the notification so they don't miss the streams, so they don't show up late. And YouTube's like, yeah, we don't care that they hit the noti bell. All right, we don't care. We're not sending them the notification. It makes you wonder, not only as a creator, but like as a consumer, what's the point of the notification bell then? It's like a roll of the dice. Like, yeah, if you hit the noti bell, maybe sometimes you get a notification, maybe sometimes you won't. Maybe what you guys can do, guys, when you guys hit the noti bell so that you don't miss the streams, you guys know as soon as the short summary spoilers drop, boom, we go live. As soon as the long summary drops, boom, we go live. Same thing with the chapter. As long as it's TCB. One thing you guys can do is hit the notification bell and just enable all notifications, chat. Just enable all notifications, and you don't have to worry about getting spammed. Chat, I don't really spam videos. I don't really spam streams. I don't spam community posts. So you guys can trust me. When you hit the noti bell, just enable all notifications for this channel. Maybe that'll help. I won't spam you guys with noties, so you guys won't have to worry about that. Maya says, I always get YouTube notifications that you're live. Yeah, man, I don't know, man. Some people get them, some people don't. Some people get them sometimes, and on other times they don't. Cameron, what's good? Boring until Blackbeard? Yeah, Cameron, I can see why you would say that. Lucas, what's good, man? He said, OP has such a massive world, and it's wasted on this cover story when he could expand on world building. Yeah, because I remember a while back, before we jumped into this cover story, we were all talking about different ideas for the next cover story. Because you guys remember how we were getting a lot of cover pages and cover requests? One of the ideas I pitched out was this. I was like, yo, throw out a cover story, show Wano being rebuilt. Let's see Momonosuke, that young king. Let's see Yamato. But even though Oda fulfilled my desire, as selfish as it may sound, it's just like, he didn't do it as fulfilling as I hoped it would be. And now looking back, chat, I almost think, should Oda have done a Katakuri cover story? Would that have been better? Because we don't see Katakuri going to Big Mom, unless that's off screen. We don't see Katakuri defending Whole Cake from the Blackbeard Pirates. And we don't see Katakuri going and saving Pudding. So my question is, what is Katakuri doing then? We don't see him going to Big Mom, unless it's off screen. We don't see him going to Pudding, unless for some reason that's off screen. And then we don't see him defending Whole Cake. So what is he doing then? You would think that if he was at Whole Cake, he would have defended against the Blackbeard Pirates, so we would have seen him, right? Well, we didn't. So maybe it would have been better for Oda to use a Katakuri cover story. Maybe show him trying to find Big Mom or something. Maybe he's using the Vivi card. Maybe he's out at the sea. He's using the Vivi card. He's trying to find where Big Mom drowned or something like that. Something. But what are we getting now? Yamato walking around. Okay, some random dude went missing. None of the readers even care about him. They don't know his name. Now Hold'em's here. It's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. And I don't want you guys thinking I'm slandering Katakuri, which I mean I kind of am. I kind of am slamming and slandering Katakuri, but I like Katakuri. I think most One Piece fans think Katakuri is one of the coolest characters. He's sick. It's just like I have genuine concerns about what he's doing right now. So I don't want people thinking that I'm biased against him or something. It's nothing like that. Young Smokey said, I believe Oda is purposely delaying the cover story going into 2025 because he got sick as well, and I believe he'll bring in Blackbeard. I hope so. I think that would be one of the greatest things he could do. And it's not only because, oh, that would be so hype, that would be so crazy. No. It's not about the hype. We know in the previous cover story, the Blackbeard Pirates arrived on Whole Cake. So repeating that, having the Blackbeard Pirates arrive on Wano this time, is a beautiful parallel. That's a great sequence of events. We also know that Oda has spent several hundred chapters building up Caribou, hearing about the ancient weapons and their locations. Well, now in Egghead, we have Caribou linking up with the Blackbeard Pirates. So no matter which way you spin it, it makes a lot of sense to have Blackbeard appear on Wano, you know? It has nothing to do with hype. It has everything to do with the logic. It has everything to do with writing the story consistently. And who knows, chat? Maybe we'll see it. Maybe we'll see Blackbeard arrive on Wano through the cover story. Maybe it's not even him. Maybe it's the commanders. Let me ask you, chat, before we move on to the spoilers. 1 for yes, 2 for no. You guys know the rules here. 1 for yes, 2 for no. Let's say, hypothetically, Blackbeard does invade Wano for Pluton. Let's just say, yes, that's going to happen. My question to you, will Blackbeard himself be invading or not? Meaning, would Blackbeard, yes, for Blackbeard himself will be on the island, yes, 1 for yes. Or no, Blackbeard himself would not be on the island, his commanders would. 1 for yes, 2 for no. What do you guys think? Loop, what's good, bro? It's tricky for me because, like, who is there to defend Wano? Who is the biggest threat? Yamato? Kinemon? Okay, so we got a 3, we got a 1, 1, 1. We got a 2, we got a 1. Okay, so are you guys saying 1 that Blackbeard would have to go? Is it because of the walls protecting Wano? Because I can't think of a character in Wano that you would need Blackbeard for. Wouldn't like Aokiji beat Yamato? Aokiji would beat the Scabbards. Shiryu, like if you had Shiryu, Aokiji, and like Augur, wouldn't that handle Wano? Momo would wipe the commanders? Wait. Am I reading this correctly? Hey, King, bro, I love Momonosuke. I've been defending Momonosuke more than any other OP fan for a very long time. But King, I don't know about that one. Cameron, bro, I'm a huge Momo defender, but I don't know about that one. You're telling me Momonosuke would wipe the commanders? Are you talking about the Blackbeard commanders? Momonosuke would wipe the Blackbeard commanders. Is that what you're telling me, Cameron? I don't know about that one. And I've been defending Momonosuke for a long time. Do you remember during Wano, weekly Wano, every YouTuber was just pooping on Momo? Everyone hated him. Everyone couldn't stand him. I was like the only one defending him. And even though I was the only one defending him, I'll tell you, I don't know about that one, bro. Because Kuzan is one of those commanders. You're telling me that Momo wipes Kuzan? I don't know, man. I don't know. How long has it been since the end of Wano? Egghead was like 1 or 2 days. How, chat, does anyone know? I know if King J was here, King J would immediately tell me the exact amount of days it's been. Because I think they defeated Kaido. I think they spent 1 week after they defeated Kaido and then they left Wano. So what, 1 week? They arrived in Egghead in like 2 days, give or take 2 days for Egghead. I say, what, 2 weeks or less? I don't know about that, man. We got Young Smokey with the 10. Thank you, bro. Thank you so much. It's good if Oda does this because Blackbeard is an opportunist and would look to conquer defeated Yonko like he did after Whitebeard died. Yeah, and we know that Blackbeard He's trying to create his own new age because he wants to become the Pirate King. If Blackbeard is this guy who has this hobby of ancient history, researching ancient history, being a historian, and he's gunning for Pirate King, wouldn't it make sense that he would aim to get ancient weapons? Which is precisely why Oda had Caribou hear about ancient weapons for hundreds of chapters, and then had Caribou meet up with the Blackbeard pirates. The only Blackbeard pirate I see right now beating Yamato's Conquers is Kuzan. He would have to send Kuzan to Wano. Yamato is too powerful. All right, chat, let me ask you. Young Smokey, I want your answer as well. Guys, comment down below before we jump into the spoilers. You have a 1v1 fight. Kuzan versus Momonosuke. Who wins? Smokey, I 100% agree with you, though. As far as Blackbeard being an opportunist and defeating Yonko, conquering them. The chapter starts with some parts of the end of Robin's flashback. We see the same events, but from the viewpoint of different characters. We discover that Spandine was framing Robin for sinking the Marine battleships and also for destroying the evacuation ship. Spandine is talking with news reporters. Then we see Kid Robin running away through multiple places. For example, we see Robin at a map book in a bookstore and secretly adding Ohara to the map. So basically what we're seeing right here is the world government consistently staying true to their ideals, staying true to their identity, and creating propaganda, right? Just like how the United States of America creates propaganda, right? I think COVID woke a lot of people up, right? We see the world government, we see Spandine telling the world that Robin was the one who sunk the ships when that wasn't the case. It's just like the United States of America, and it's just it's exactly like the IDF. It's exactly like Israel. Lying and pushing this atrocity propaganda on the victim, right? Because that was literally the logic of a Nazi. I don't remember what his name is, but basically the logic, the strategy is basically when you do something, right, blame the other person for doing it. Because now what's going to happen is people are going to listen to you and watch you blame somebody for something that they didn't do. And now that person has to defend themselves and say, no, actually, he did it, right? And that creates this whole big jumbled mess. Humans, the average human doesn't like to think through things. So if I said, for an example, chat, Young Smokey hacked my channel, right? He hacked my YouTube channel. Everyone's going to be sitting there listening. Wow, Smokey, you really did that? And now Smokey would have to sit there and say, no, I didn't. I never did that. Here's why I never did it. In fact, Eddie, you hacked my channel. And then a lot of people, they just listen to the initial accusation. They're not going to look and see what Young Smokey said, like the average person. And then they're going to think that Young Smokey is trying to wiggle his way out. He's trying to create this whole methodical idea that he didn't hack me and it was actually me that hacked him. This is exactly what the world government does. This is exactly what we see in real life. But I do think it's so adorable that Robin is going through bookstores and she's adding Ohara to the map. This is why Robin is one of my favorite characters, if not my favorite character in One Piece. You guys see how I am with Zoro? You guys see how I am with the true vice captain of the crew, with Woro. Roronoa Zoro. Robin is just an amazing character who wants to enlighten the world. Like, at heart, she's a sweetheart. She's a nice sweetheart, right? But she wants to red pill the masses. She's trying to tell the masses what the truth is. Like, it truly is one of the best, in my opinion, one of the best types of characters to awaken the people to the truth. Because this whole One Piece planet is living the life of a lie. They're just being fed propaganda. They're being fed what Big Brother wants them to believe. They live in 1984, and like so do we in real life. They're being fed propaganda and what Big Brother and the party wants you to believe. And if you say things that are not in line, they wipe you out. It's newspeak. You can't talk about the D Clan. You can't talk about Joy Boy. Nika, the Void Sentry. You're not allowed to talk about that. It's newspeak. And look at Robin. She doesn't care. Even as a young child, she's going around to bookstores, going around in bookstores, drawing O'Hara on the map. As a kid. We even see Robin eating food from the garbage next to a dog. And we see people's reactions in the places where Robin was fleeing. People are saying she's already as smart as a scholar and she does not have human emotions. Just look at this amount of money. Take up your guns and hunt her down. Don't be fooled by her young appearance. Have no mercy. She uses some unknown sorcery. What is this Marine doing? She's an enemy of the world. Look at how they're willing to treat a kid. We see the US do this. We see Israel do this. Israel would say, this person is a threat. Hamas, Hamas, Hamas. Whole time it's a kid. It's literally the One Piece world government, the One Piece Marines is exactly like the IDF. Yeah, we're hunting down the demons. We're hunting down the monsters, the enemies of the world. Whole time it's a kid. Look at how they're treating Robin, and this is exactly what we see in real life. One day, Kid Robin was thinking of jumping from a cliff, but she stopped because she remembered Olvia and Saul's words. Robin's flashback ends with Robin running away, trying to laugh, dead she, as we hear many voices curse her. Look at this. This is tragic, bro. This is tragic. This is why Robin is probably, and for sure, for me, and I'm not just saying this because we're reading the chapter. I've said this a million times. Robin is in my top 3 characters. 100%. She wants to red pill the masses. She wants to awaken the masses. She's genuinely a sweetheart. She has a very tragic backstory, a very tragic upbringing. She's in line with the sun god. She's a scholar. This is one of the greatest characters that I've seen in any anime, in any manga, bro. And you know, it's kind of sad though, because people will water this down. I'm not saying all One Piece fans, but a lot of One Piece fans will water this all down and they'll say, no, she's great because she got big boobies. She got melons. It's like, bro, come on, man. Like, she's a scholar. She's chasing after the truth. She's trying to teach the world. And you want to tell me about her melons? Her jugs? Bro. I'm looking at you, Young Smokey. I'm looking at you, Eli. Simon said, but evil today, it's a child tomorrow, it's a fighter. Wait. But evil, today it's a child, tomorrow it's a fighter. In a sense, that is correct. But you have to look at why they became a fighter, right? Look at what the U.S. does to these Middle Eastern nations on behalf of the Jews. Look at what they do. Look, the U.S. serving the Jews are the reason why there's so many people growing up with this hatred for what happened to their city, their town, their village, and their parents. These people are going through PTSD, traumatic experiences, where their neighborhood is getting nuked. And all the animals, dogs, cats, which no one talks about, all the animals are getting eradicated. There's people getting blown up left and right. Of course it's going to make people angry and want to fight back. See, like, war is just terrible, man. And God didn't create war. God created humans with free will so that we could not be puppets and we could be our own people, that we could have our own free will. What's the point of life if you don't have your own free will? There's no point. There's no point. What's the point of living if you don't have free will? So God loves us so much that he made us to have free will so that we can make our own decisions and truly enjoy life. But of course, there's going to be people that abuse free will. And it's tragic. They exploit others. Young Smokey with the 20 bomb. Thank you so much, Young King, bro. Thank you. He says a lot of One Piece fans will be mad. Not a lot happened in this chapter, but it's for the heart. 10 out of 10. Without the reunion, he always maintained as a Robin, the GOAT fan. Don't play me, brother. I love the boobs. Oh, hey, listen. Young Smokey, if you appreciate the body of a grown adult woman, man, I can't blame you. You know, us men, this stream right now, this chat is like 99% men. Probably like 0.01% women. Listen, bro, we all have these urges within us. We just have to temper our expectations. We just have to humble ourselves down. We have to control our flesh. We have to pick up our cross daily. You know, shout out to Saint Paul. Some people call him Apostle Paul. Shout out to him, as he said, I die daily. I crucify the flesh. I'm killing my flesh. And we have to kill our flesh, young Smokey. Sometimes we have to kill our flesh. We have to deny ourselves because we can't get into that corn stuff. You know what I'm saying? We can't get into corn that's meant to destroy men and make us waste our life force and not seek a marriage, a family, a union to create one flesh. And you know who perpetrates this. You know who's the one pushing this. You know who created Cornhub. You know who created XNXXX. You know who is the CEO and owner and founder of OnlyFans. You know who the people are that push this to no end. You know who the guy is that made corn protected under free speech. We know where this satanic behavior is coming from. Okay? So what we need to do is, young Smokey, we need to control ourselves. If we have this appreciation for the female body, hey, that's okay, bro. That's okay, because you're appreciating God's creation, okay? We're here to appreciate God's creation and to love God's creation. And, you know, sometimes God's greatest creation is a woman, right? I can't wait to see what Saul is about to cook. Yo, me either, man. I want to, let's continue, bro. I want to see, as much as we read the spoilers in text, I want to actually see the panels. Olvia says, live, Robin. Saul says, you must survive, Robin. Back to the present. The Great Eric ship docks at the village's pier. The pier is surrounded by sea clouds that acts like water. Luffy's group also arrives at the village in a flying rowboat with island clouds attached to its oars. Gerd, Goldberg, and the Thousand Sunny are in the ship too. Luffy says, whoa! Usopp says, look at this, it's amazing. The giants say, that's a Zval, kanjis meaning mist ship. This ship uses the buoyancy of island clouds to move forward. Usopp says, amazing, this country keeps surprising us. Lilith says, current climate with Elbaf is perfect. Island cloud, sea cloud, bubble, rainbow, and hover. All technology can coexist on this island. Everyone gathers in the middle of the village. Nami notices that Robin changed her hairstyle, and Robin replies to Nami, and the others have dressed up quite befitting for Elbaf. So are we finally gonna get the double page? Smokey, L, Kai, you guys know I have been begging for an Elbaf double page of the crew. Come on, Oda gave us the Wano double page of the crew. Give us an Elbaf double page. I want to see all the Straw Hats together, all of them together, uniting as one crew, one unit, one force, one band, all in their Elbaf outfits. I need to see that. Are we going to get that? Kai, is Oda going to give that to us, or is he going to tease us? Or is he going to tickle the pickle? What is he going to do? I want to see the whole crew here in a double leg spread. Brandon, what's good, bro? Jordan says Zval as in Zvalin's shield. I have no clue what Zvalin is. I'm going to be honest with you, dude. I have no clue who Zval or Zvalin is. And Sway, my bad, King. My bad, King. I misspoke. I misspoke. Brandon, what's good, King? Smokey said, there's a mist ship in Norse mythology. Need time to research. We're going to have to research that. And again, we were talking about this last stream in the short summary spoiler stream, that possibly this mist ship that we're seeing in 1133 is going to be foreshadowing Uranus. Okay, chat? Keep that in mind. I'm not saying that this ship in 1133 is going to be an exact replica of Uranus. I'm saying that this ship could possibly be a foreshadowing of Uranus. We know that Uranus, if you look carefully at the dialogue all throughout Egghead, look at all throughout Egghead from start to finish. if we read the official translations, we can paint a picture where the world government used an ancient weapon called Uranus, but the ancient weapon is not Mother Flame itself. The ancient weapon uses Mother Flame, kind of like how Poseidon uses Shirahoshi, right? Dory and Bragi used the Svalin shield to push back Workery. Is that what it was? I don't remember. Bro, I keep telling you guys, I'm terrible with the Norse mythology. I've looked into it so many times. It's just, I don't know. Then I feel like with the names and like the pronunciations, that makes it so much harder for me to retain information, you know? And apparently there's 2 different Lokis. I know in Norse mythology, some people share the exact same unique name. It's hard for me to keep track. Kai says, I have a feeling that Oda is about to do another huge lore drop. It won't just be the entire world this time, just to the Straw Hats. Kai, that's a great take, bro. Because as you see, the past few chapters, especially this chapter, they've been dedicated to the heart. This is meant to fill the heart and the spirit of the One Piece fan. We know that Oda likes to throw us a bone in different directions sometimes. Sometimes we're going to get chapters that's just full of lore drops, a big info dump. And then sometimes it's just something that's really emotional, something that hits the heart, that hits the spirit. So Oda's been really keying in and focusing on these chapters that are really emotional, with Robin and Saul reuniting, the Straw Hats finally making it to Elbaf. We're getting a lot of these chapters that fill the spirit. I think there's gonna come a time here pretty soon, Kai, exactly like what you said, where we get a chapter that hits the mind. We're gonna get some lore. Right? Maybe they're going to make some comments about Joy Boy, some comments about Nika. We already know in Egghead that they said that Joy Boy at one point went to Elbaf, and when they saw Joy Boy, they compared Joy Boy to Nika, which means that if they saw Joy Boy and they compare him to Nika because of his rubber abilities, they probably know a lot about Nika. Probably Elbaf and its higher people, the people that are in the know, they probably know more about Nika than One Piece fans do. So if the Elbaf citizens or, you know, Loki or someone, whoever, wants to speak on Nika here pretty soon, being that we're in Elbaf, it makes a lot of sense that we're going to learn things about Nika, okay? Us One Piece fans should be learning things about Nika, following that logic. Gabe, it might have been L that gifted you. Earlier this stream, he gifted 5 memberships. Oh, I don't see you there, actually. I just scrolled up. L gifted 5 memberships. He gifted to Cash, Donnie, Blake, Viswa, and Jin. So it must have been someone else, Gabe. Young Smokey said, Paw Paw connects to an Egyptian cat myth or god. Evil made a theory about it. I'm not about this if I'm not wrong. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Can someone pull up that video? If you type in VV Kuma, it'll be one of my name in the search bar. It'll be probably the first video that pops up. I don't even remember what the argument was, but yeah, VV getting Kuma's fruit, just it makes too much sense. It's very difficult to argue against. I forgot what the whole logic was because it's been so long. It's hard for me to remember all my details and all my theories. Smokey said, I got your back on any Norse myths, Greek myths, Egypt, with Kuma having a cat god fruit. Yeah, the cat god fruit, man. And Smokey, it's you, Mikal Jordan, and Johan that I'm depending on when it comes to Norse mythology. I suck, bro. See, I had Smokey, I had the Hinduism lore down pat. I got the Christian lore. I got it keyed in. I got it locked in. But Norse mythology, bro, I'm garbage. I'm trash, chat. I'm garbage. And I have, obviously, we've done Elbaf videos in the past, the whole Norse mythology things in the past. But if you guys want to get really deep into the meat and potatoes of it, I need to work on it. Jordan said Uranus manipulating the clouds via technology might hint at the One Piece or all the ancient weapons being used for an intent of terraforming. Yeah, exactly. I think the point of the ancient weapons is for Luffy and Co to destroy the Red Line, because the Red Line is what's causing division between the One Piece planet. on a physical level. Physically speaking, the red line is separating all of these seas from each other. And I don't know if Luffy could just use Bajrang gun and break all of the red line. We know the red line is a mountain that literally goes around the planet. So I think what Luffy's going to do is he's going to use the ancient weapons to destroy the red line. Young Smokey said, I'm a Hindu, but I ain't got the lore. LOL, I failed. There's a lot that goes into it. And I mean, I had to do a lot of videos about Hinduism, and I had to do a lot of research to get the basics. So I can't blame you, bro. All right, guys, let's continue. Hiruden meets the Straw Hat crew. Luffy and all the crew are on top of the giants and introduces them the new giant warrior pirates. We see that Road has been tied up with iron chains and crucifixed. Oda, why you keep doing this, Oda? Why are you doing this? In Wano, you had Yasui crucified on a cross. Now, you're telling me there was a character named Road who claimed to be the sun god? The god of the sun? Son of God? And he's being crucified? Explain that to me, chat. Road, who claims to be the sun god, god of the sun, son of God, being crucified. What could this possibly be alluding to, chat? What's good, Mind Hacks? Alfred, what's good, brother? Sharma, what's good, man? Yo, this man, Oda, what are you doing, Oda? You're crucifying a character that's essentially claiming to be the son of God, the god of the sun. Come on, chat, you gotta see through this, chat. Come on. Use your mind. What have we been saying about Elbaf and Nika and Joy Boy for so long now? Oda's choosing to do this on Elbaf with someone that's claiming to be the son of God, the god of the sun. Chat, you can clip this, record this, screenshot this, screen record this. Any amount of money, Joy Boy died because he was crucified. I'll bet any amount of money, the cause of death of Joy Boy was crucifixion. Because he's inspired by Jesus, and Luffy is the return of Jesus. He's the return of Joy Boy. Oda's building it up, man. What did we just see last arc? Kuma was a pastor for a church who read a Bible, who prayed to the Son of God, and he had a cross, and he was healing people. He believes that Nika will return. He's awaiting Nika's return. Oda's building this up, man. And I'm not saying this to say that Luffy will have a Judas. I'm saying this to say that Joy Boy had a Judas, okay? If Luffy is going to fit the return of Jesus, obviously not every tiny detail will be the same, of course. But I would argue that Luffy won't have a Judas. Joy Boy had a Judas. Because we know that Jesus in the book of Revelations, when he arrives back, there's no one stopping him. He didn't have a Judas. Jordan says, Road is the Sanji of the new giant warrior pirates. He has too much fun dunking on him. I bet Joy Boy walked the plank and fell into the sea. I do think Joy Boy will be the one-eyed Odin, but he was crucified on a tree as well. Hey, walking the plank is actually, I like that. Walking the plank. You know, that fits the whole, the classic pirate tropes. Which, by the way, guys, have we seen that? Have we seen any character walk the plank? For some reason, my mind is telling me something with Duval. I could be completely wrong. Have we seen any characters forced to walk the plank? I'm wondering why Oda hasn't done, these really cliche, trope-esque things of pirates. Has he? Yeah, I-Fi. Shout out to I-Fi. Garling crucified Mjolnir. Whoa! Oy vey! Oy vey! Huh! Real ones who watch the stream consistently know exactly what I'm thinking right now. Figureland, who serves the world's government, crucified someone who cared for the people. Huh. Ha. What if the crucifixion is the sun god punishment? What? So Jonathan, I'm intrigued by that comment, but what do you mean by the sun god punishment? Do you mean like they did it to the sun god, or the sun god created the punishment? What do you mean exactly? Garling did crucify Mjolnir in front of the rest of the celestial dragons. Yeah, exactly. You know, the origin of the crucifixion in real life, the reason that it came about is because they wanted to kill people as torturous as possible. They wanted to inflict as much suffering and pain as possible. So back during the time of Jesus, being crucified was the worst way to go out. They wanted it to be so painful and torturous. That was the whole point of it. No 1,000 chapters and no walking the plank. That's crazy, Will. Was good, Will, by the way. Will of Dreams. That's crazy, man. I'm surprised Oda hasn't done that. Maybe Oda is saving that because we do know. Here's one thing, chat. I wonder why. This is just from my point of view. I could be wrong, but I wonder why a lot of One Piece fans don't talk about Joy Boy being the first pirate. I think that could lead up to many things. I feel like when we get into Joy Boy and get to see who he really is, if he was the first pirate, I think what that's going to be is this idea that he was walking the plank. He had people walking the plank. He had a pirate patch eye. You know, he had the eye patch. He had a peg leg. I feel like Oda's going to go really, really hard on, you know, the classic tropes, the cliches of piracy. And I haven't seen anyone really talk about that. Hey, Will of Dreams, I'm doing amazing, man. Will of Dreams, I hope you're doing good too, man. Finburst, what's good, brother? Didn't Luffy and Kobe walk the plank? My memory is so bad that if they did, I probably forgot, man. Kid Doflamingo, Kid Corazon, Homing, and the mom got pseudo crucified. Look at Jordan. Look at Jordan with the knowledge, bro, with the info. Kid Doflamingo, that's true. He was on the cross, remember? And weren't they like they were trying to stone him, right? Corazon, Kid Corazon, yeah, because it was Corazon, then it was Homing, then it was Dofi. I actually don't remember the mom. Wait. Doflamingo's mom got crucified? I actually totally forgot about his mom. She was up there with him? I thought it was only Corazon, Homing, and then Dofi. The mom was there too? Okay, yeah, I read that one. The I Bet Joy Boy walked. Nashi died by then? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking, like, did she die before that? No, mom died of sickness prior. Mom got sick and died. Hey, well, either way, man, this dude, I think it was Jordan. Either way, Jordan was coming through. Jordan came through and dropped all the people who were crucified, minus the mom. I think he said the mom, but... It makes so much sense if they use the ancient weapons to destroy the red line, since Emu used the ancient weapons to create the red line. So Gabe, that's a theory though, right? Or have I totally forgot that Emu created the red line with the ancient weapons? Because as far as I know, we don't even know when the red line was created. But Gabe, let's say you're correct though. Let's say what you're saying is true, that Emu used the ancient weapons to create the red line. Then it would make a lot of sense that Luffy would use the ancient weapons to destroy the red line. But I'm thinking like, okay, what would Poseidon have to do? Like, think about Poseidon, right? How would that be useful in terms of creating the red line? You know? All right, guys, let's continue. Let's see. Where were we at? Luffy says, "It has been a while, Hiruden." Hiruden says, "I have heard all about your actions. To think you are one of the Yonko now? Way to go, big boss." Let's go, man. Luffy is our pirate king, bro. That's our Yonko, man. Do you guys remember the days when we would talk about, like, do you think Luffy's gonna be a Yonko? Yeah, Luffy's gonna be Yonko. No, Luffy's not gonna be a Yonko. I can't wait to see Luffy named a Yonko. Yonko Luffy. We're living in those times, guys, and we're living in the times of Elbaf. Beautiful. Later, I will give you a more formal introduction, but these four all belong to the new giant warrior pirates, one of your subordinate crews. Gerd says, "Nice to meet you." Luffy says, "I said I don't need subordinates." Hiruden says, "That's fine. We are doing this because we want to. Dee ga 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 ga." Hiruden mentions that the news of Big Mom being defeated has reached Elbaf too. Gerd says it's a shame since she and Linlin used to be friends, but Linlin committed an unforgivable crime to Elbaf. Guys, are we just assuming that the unforgivable crime is her eating all the kids? Which, by the way, that just sounds insane out of context. Do we all agree that that's the crime? Oda seems to like crucifixion. I'm telling you, this is building up to the idea that Luffy, yes, he has multiple inspirations, but Luffy's based on Jesus. And the large part of One Piece is Jesus. That's why there's an Adam tree and an Eve tree and a tree of knowledge. And there's devil fruits. And a prophecy of the return. The Son of God. Her crime is killing Ja Rule and ruining the winter solstice. Wait, she killed Ja Rule? I remember her fighting Ja Rule and Joe Rule, but she killed Ja Rule? Poseidon could have helped create the Grand Line / Calm Belt. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point, Will of Dreams. Where Sea King's nest, maybe the pass under / cave to Fisherman Island and path to New World was made by Sea Lords told to by Poseidon. Will of Dreams, that's a great point. That's a great point. But, you know, at the same time, I think I remember seeing a panel that the wind and the atmosphere is what causes the calm belt, if I'm not mistaken. Go look that up. I have no clue what chapter that was in, but I could have swore. Let me not say that. You're not supposed to swear. I'm pretty sure. I remember, it might have been Nami. I don't remember who it was, but they were talking about the lack of wind in the calm belt is the reason why the tides in the calm belt is like that. But I need someone to confirm that. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure that's what it was, though. Fox, thank you, bro. How you doing today, man? Zen, what's good, brother? Door Handle said Big Mom was in her adrenochrome. Big Mom, bro, she was off that adrenochrome, man. She was hallucinating. She was invigorated. She was off adrenochrome. That's wild, bro. Watch, the Gorosei are going to be off adrenochrome. Every 7 days, they got to take a dose. Zen said, yo, what's good? Emu creating the red line with ancient weapons is pure headcanon. Like, it could be true, right? It could be true. But I'm struggling right now, off of my own memory, to piece that together, you know? It might have been Emu that created the red line. Because if you think about the red line, it serves a purpose. The biggest purpose it serves is to divide the One Piece planet. And that's exactly what the world government would want to do. And we know the world government obviously is being controlled and spearheaded and led by Emu. So wouldn't that naturally mean that Emu had something to do with the creation of the red line? The problem is that we don't have enough information, you know? We just don't have enough information to solidify certain things. OMG, that's why Emu is the way they are, explains to child slaves. Exactly. Look at Boa, man. Look at what they did to Boa and her sisters. Red line is not natural. It has to be created. All right, guys, listen, we're going to do a vote. We're going to do a poll, okay? Put a 1 in chat if you believe that the red line is artificial, that it was made by someone or something. Artificial, it was created. Right? Put a 1 in chat if you believe that. Put a 2 in chat if you feel like it was just natural. The One Piece planet just naturally always had that. It's just a natural thing. 1 for it was made by world government, Emu, Nika, someone created it. 2 if that's just how the One Piece planet has always been. Maya says 1, Zen says 2, Sway says 2, Jordan says 1 plus 2. What's 1 plus 2? Are you saying that like half of it was natural and then the world government or Nika made it bigger? Well, what's 1 plus 2? What's 9 plus 10, chat? What's 9 plus 10? Eric says 1, Damon says 1, Simon says 2, Sharma says 1. It looks a little even. Eric said 1.5. Yo, what is 1 plus 2? What's 1.5? What would that option be? Like most of the red line was there and then someone added to it? Is that what it would be? Sway says could be both. Jordan says it's natural but manipulated. Simon says 21. Yeah, what's 9 plus 10? 21. Fox, come on, man. You know 9 plus 10 is 21. You stupid. You stupid. What's 9 plus 10? 21. What they did to my perfectly beautiful queen, Boa, is unforgivable. I hope the world government gets taken out violently by Blackbeard. Hey, door handle, I know we have this righteous anger. We want justice. We want firm justice. But, I don't know, man. We gotta wrestle with violence and justice. You know, part of me thinks that Nika needs to swing the hammer on Emu and the world government for their countless, endless atrocities. But at the same time, we gotta have a balance, you know? It's difficult, bro. It's difficult. But I guess if the One Piece world is led by God, their true God is Sun God Nika, then I guess it's up to him what justice is. Zen said, yeah, what Concept said, Lunarians have been on the red line. That's true. So the Lunarians were on the red line originally 1,000 years ago. So the question is, how do we know that 2,000 years ago it didn't exist or it did exist? You know, just because we know that 1,000 years ago the red line existed because the Lunarians were on the red line, that doesn't tell us what was before 1,000 years ago. So all we can really say is that the red line has existed for at least 1,000 years. Door handle says, I hear you, but that's why you would follow his methods. I would, not you. Wait, what do you mean? That's why you would follow his methods. I would, not you. What do you mean? Redline predates Emu. The Lunarians were there prior to Emu. Just saying it existed prior to Emu is all. Yeah, so I don't know, man. It's hard to say because we don't even know how old Emu is. All we could really say is that Emu has been around at least since the Void Century, but that doesn't tell us when Emu came into existence, you know? Who do you think Jesus exists in One Piece? Because why do Kuma have Bible? It has to be a story in it. I believe it's not exactly one-to-one every tiny little detail where Jesus is in One Piece. I think it's the main points that Jesus is in One Piece. I believe when you read the Bible and when you read the Gospels, which are true, they are Greco-Roman biographies. It tells a true story. These people were hunted down and they were killed for not what they believed, but for what they saw. And they were willing to die for not what they believed, but for what they saw. We see in the Gospels, Jesus was someone who was of the Son of God. He made large claims. He essentially said, if you don't see me as Lord, the kingdom of God is going to be taken away from you. We see that Jesus said, before Abraham was born, I am. And the reason he says I am is because he's alluding to the fact that he is God. We know that when Moses was on top of the mountain during the Old Testament days, he was talking to God when he saw the burning bush. He was talking to the Lord, and he asked the Lord, you want me to go tell my brothers, you want me to tell my brethren that I have spoken to you? How will they know that it's you that I spoke to? What is your name? What do I address you as? And the Lord looked at Moses. He looked at Moses and he said, I am who I am. And I am in Hebrew is Yahweh, right? So now when we go back to Jesus, when Jesus says before Abraham was born, who is like the father, the fleshly father, I suppose, before Abraham was born, I am, he's essentially saying, I am God, right? So this whole idea that Jesus never said he was God is completely ridiculous. It's completely made up. And there's more things aside from that. I don't want to get too deep onto that, but my whole point is that I believe that Jesus, the original Jesus who came down, who was born of Virgin Mary, that is going to inspire the character of Luffy when you read the final book of the Bible, it talks about the book of Revelation. This was the visions of Apostle Paul, Saint Paul, or not Paul, sorry, Apostle John, sorry. Lord, forgive me for my error. It talks about the visions of Apostle John, Saint John, who was with Jesus, and he had visions and he heard the Lord speaking to him. And in the beginning of the book of Revelation, you can see how the Lord spoke to John and said, I need you to write this down. And it talks about the end times, right? And essentially, Jesus in the book of Revelation pretty much says that he's going to come back at the end of days to save the world. And we can even see throughout the Gospels, Jesus talking about himself returning. And then we can see other prophecies like through Isaiah and Daniel. I don't want to get too complicated with this, but basically Jesus comes back in real life during the end times. So when we talk about Joy Boy being inspired by Jesus, I'm arguing that Joy Boy is being inspired by the Jesus that was born of Virgin Mary, did all of his stuff, then was crucified. And when Luffy's inspired by Jesus, he is the Messiah, he is the Jesus, he is the Christ that comes back down to save the world before the world ends. That's what I'm saying when Luffy's inspired by Jesus and Joy Boy's inspired by Jesus. Jin Marks, how you doing, man? I'm glad to see you. Not man, but girl. How you doing, girl? Yeah, it's just enough to counter the emu created the red line theory. We probably not going to get much history prior to the Void Century except Moon or Adam and Eve related stuff. I think, honestly, I want Oda to just, hear me out, guys. I want the Laugh Tale arc to just be 50 chapters. Like, 50 chapters. I want to hear about the origins of Verth, which is the One Piece planet, the origins of Verth, how the sun god came to be, how he created the world. I want to see about the Adam tree. I want to see about the Eve tree. I want to see about the fruits of the double fruits. I want to see how it was created, how it was manifested. I want to see the Void Century. I want to see the ancient kingdom, how they came to be, their origin, how they rose up. I want to see Nika and his journey, Joy Boy and his journey. I want it to just be 50 chapters, man. Leave the Straw Hats, push them away for 50 chapters, and just give us all of it. Just Oda, lay it all out on the table. That's what I desire. 50 chapters, just give us everything. That way we have the full picture of the beginnings of the One Piece Earth, the beginnings of the One Piece planet. Luffy's gonna be born from the Virgin Dragon, no mom needed. The Virgin Dragon. Okay, so you're telling me Monkey D. Dragon, he gave birth to Luffy. Dragon is Mother Mary. Do you think that kid will appear this arc? I can't remember for the life of me who it was, but someone in chat, they had a great, I think it was multiple people. I think Amuni was one of them. They had this great idea that kid is going to wash up on the shore of Elbath. He's going to run into Loki. Loki's going to say, hey, kid, free me and I'll fight people on your behalf. Kid will say, definitely. I'm going to free you and I want you to fight Shanks. Kid goes, finds the key, or uses Conqueror's Haki, does something, whatever. He frees Loki, and Loki's like, all right, you freed me. I'm going to fight Shanks on your behalf. Beyond that, I don't know how the story would go. I definitely don't think, though, that Loki would defeat Shanks. I think that would cause certain things to happen, a certain sequence of events. In Revelations, isn't there someone who claims to be God but commits a terrible sin? Could Blackbeard symbolize that? Someone who claims to be God but commits a terrible sin. Yeah, you're talking about the Antichrist. In the book, you're 100% right. In the book of Revelation, there's going to be this guy that rises to power. He's going to have a false prophet who speaks of him highly, right? The Antichrist is going to be bolstered by this false prophet. The Antichrist is going to do these wonders. He's going to trick people into thinking that he's a great being. The Antichrist will go to Israel, and the Antichrist will essentially help Israel and the Jews build their third temple. And the Antichrist, after the temple is built, he's going to bring abomination to desolation, or desolation to abomination, which essentially is saying that they're going to build the third temple, and the Antichrist is going to put an abomination in the temple that's extremely disrespectful to Christians and Jews. That's what the Antichrist will do. And when he does that, the Antichrist is going to sit on the throne and he's going to tell the world, I am God. You all have to worship me. And the Antichrist will force the world into worshiping him as God. So who would do that? I think that's Emu, right? Because it seems like the throne room in Marijua, it almost fits like the third temple of Israel or of Jerusalem, right? And you guys know all the things I've said about the Gorsean Jews. You guys know all the things we've painted. I've said this a million times on streams. I've made tweets about it. But again, the Antichrist is supposed to sit on this throne and proclaim that he is God. And we see this gradual buildup of how no one sits on the empty throne. The empty throne symbolizes a world that has no one world ruler, right? But we see Emu obviously sit on the throne. Emu is perceiving himself as the god of the world, and the Gorosei see Emu as God. So maybe by the end of the One Piece world, Emu will just come out, or maybe he's exposed or whatever, and Emu has to come out and he says, I'm ruling the world, I am God, you guys will follow me. And maybe that could be one of the biggest reasons why Luffy has to go fight Emu and take Emu down, because Emu's trying to tell everyone, like, you are all subjects of me, I am God, right? So Emu would fit the Antichrist. Whereas Blackbeard, I don't really know. I don't really know. Fox said, bro, I think someone did black magic on me. They took piece of hair from me and piece of my clothing. Do you know how to help against the effect of black magic? Fox, that's wild. I'll answer that, and we'll go back to the spoilers. I don't want to get too off topic. But Fox, the true answer to everything is Jesus, okay? He's the truth. He's the way and the truth of the life. No one can get to the Father except through him. Pray to Jesus, seek him, read the Bible, seek him, and you will find. Knock, and he will answer, and fill the Holy Spirit within your heart. We know that before Jesus passed away, or before Jesus left, he told us that he will send his helper. That helper is the Holy Spirit. Seek Jesus, build that relationship with him, admit that he is Lord, be embodied by the Holy Spirit, and you'll fight off all of these malevolent practices, right? We even know in like UFO alien culture, there's a lot of stories where people have like this alien abduction, people have these alien encounters, and when these people name Jesus, the aliens, they flee. And the reason that I think that is because these aliens are actually disguising themselves as aliens when in reality they're demons. So I think the greatest answer to everything is Jesus, and you can't try to steal all the teachings of Jesus that you see through New Age spirituality, taking all of these biblical beliefs, heaven, hell, angels, demons, Christ consciousness. It's like basically taking a car without the permit, or taking a car without the license plate. You get pulled over, you get punished for that. So the license plate is Jesus, and the vehicle is his teachings and following in his footsteps. He did not say, I am the way and the truth of the life. Follow me, like be like me, and don't see me as God. That wasn't the point. He's saying that if you're seeking the truth, I am the truth. If you're seeking life, I am life. Don't fall for this New Age spirituality that just constantly pulls things out of context. I even saw the other day, my girl showed me this guy in New Age spirituality tried arguing that the 12 apostles of Jesus is a metaphor, that it's actually like 12 forms of a mission to achieve Christ consciousness. It's ridiculous. We know that there's 12 apostles. We know that. It's cringe. Like, we know there was 12 people. We have thousands of manuscripts. We have thousands of copies of their letters that they sent to churches. This idea that's a metaphor is completely, with all due respect, it's stupid. Even atheists will know, like, that's ridiculous. We know that there was 12 people. And what did these 12 people say? That Jesus is God. But anyways, I'm going to leave it at that. Damon said, Kid is so underrated. He will be back very strong. Chat, 1 for yes, 2 for no. Will Kid return? Will he return? I think if Kid returns, it's Elbaf, dude. Not gonna lie, man. If he returns, it's Elbaf. It's Elbaf. I think Emu is possessed by the spirit of his devil fruit, or sold his soul to the devil for power. I think Emu is the devil. Emu is Satan. He's like a mix between Satan and the Antichrist. And I think it's the Gorosei that sold their soul. The Gorosei sold their soul to the devil. And that's why in Brooks' time skip, Kamakura Island, the people on that island in the official translations use the phrase Satan, and they use the phrase of selling souls. That's foreshadowing what the Gorosei did with Emu. That's why Oda is not saying that the Gorosei have devil fruits. Those are monster forms. Those are demon forms because they sold their soul to Emu. They sold their soul to the devil. Emu is the devil. Simultaneously, the Antichrist. All right, guys, let's continue. Let's continue. Let's continue. Where did we leave off? All in the village are about to start a feast, but Gerd notifies Robin that Saul has come to wait at the school nearby the village. Saul wants to show Robin Elbaf Library. Robin plans to go alone, but all Straw Hats choose to go with her. So they postpone the feast for her. Beautiful. Look at the Straw Hats. Loving Robin, being there for Robin, going to the school. Chat. Yo, where's Kai? Kai. If they show up at the school, we start getting Nika lore. We start getting Elbaf lore. We start getting Joy Boy lore. So Oda's like, here, past few chapters and 1133, I'm going to give you One Piece fans chapters that fill the heart, chapters that fill the spirit. Once we get that out of the way, boom, lore drop. Info dump. Gerd takes them to Zval and they fly to meet Saul. During the trip, Gerd explains that Saul teaches history to Elbaf children. Usopp is amazed to discover that warriors even work hard on learning. Gerd says Saul Sensei focuses mainly on the history lessons. He also lectures about various books. Ooh. Is that books of the Bible Kuma carries around? We have arrived at the Warrior Spring, and nearby is the Library of Owls. The Library of Owls. What could this mean, chat? We have arrived at Warrior Spring, and nearby is the Library of Owls. Guys, does that exist in Norse mythology? Is there a Library of Owls in Norse mythology? What is a Library of Owls? Malik Library? Yeah, door handle. That's what I was thinking too, bro. Moloch or Malik? Moloch? However you want to pronounce it. I know Moloch or Molech was like a calf, but I've seen other spins of Moloch, if I'm not mistaken, where it's more of an owl entity. We've seen that at Bohemian Grove. I know you guys know what I'm talking about. Bohemian Grove. They had the giant owl statue, did they not? Alex Jones snuck in there. There's footage of it. Kai says, what do you think about the time differential theory? As in, maybe on Elbaf, time moves slower. Similar to how in physics, time moves slower the more gravity is present. That's interesting. That's interesting. I actually really like that, Kai, because one thing that just jumped to my mind, bro, is we saw at the end of the previous chapter, it says to not stay on the island too long. I don't remember, Kai, if you were here for that during the chapter reaction stream, but we were saying that if they're giving us this warning to not stay on the island of Elbaf too long, is it something physical, like a monster or an enemy or a person or like some kind of physical threat trying to harm them? Or is it something intangible, something like a poison, something like a hallucinogen? And your idea of this time differential theory, maybe like what you said, Elbaf, time moves slower. The time moves slower. And the reason why you wouldn't want to stay on Elbaf too long is because if you stay on Elbaf too long and then you leave the island, you basically missed a lot of time in the real world. So like if they, like, let's say it's like half speed, right? And the Straw Hats spend 2 weeks on Elbaf. When they leave Elbaf, that's a month already passed. And that means like it's been a month of the Blackbeard Pirates targeting New Marineford. It's been a month of Dragon and the Revs wrestling with the world government. They're going to be missing a lot of things that they couldn't control. I really like that idea, Kai. Shout out to Kai. Shout out to Kai. Because I have an inkling, I have like this inclination that, again, in 1132 at the end of the chapter, when they say don't stay on the island too long, when there's this warning that you shouldn't forget, I don't think it's a physical threat like a monster, like some kind of poison or something like that. I think it's something more figurative, like hallucinating, or maybe like what Kai said, something with time moving slower. That's a great theory. I really like that. I really like that. Maybe they return to Elbaf to a whole time skip. Yeah, maybe there's a month or two passing. And I don't want to say it'll be too long. And I don't think you're saying that either, Kai. I don't think it'll be like, oh, years have passed, you know? Because we know that the world government is currently at war with the Revs. And I think this war between the Revs and the world government is leading up to the final war. I think this is the precursor to the final war. So maybe it'll be like a month has passed, 2 or 3 months have passed, maybe a few weeks, something like that. I really like that, Kai. That's a really great theory. I like that. Simon says, shout out to Alex Jones. Yo, shout out to that man, Alex Jones. I don't agree with everything he says, but he has said a lot of great takes, a lot of true things. Someone snuck in Bohemian Grove 4 times. Who was that? I've never heard about that. I've only heard about one instance of someone sneaking in, and it's Alex. I need to know who you're referring to. Sneaking in 4 times. What's good, Lone Sigma? But Shanks is okay being in Elbaf for long. Jinmarks, that's a great point, but like, it's a little, and I'm not trying to be biased here, chat, with this new Kai theory, with the time differential. Time delusion. I don't know what we would call it exactly. I'm not trying to be biased here to push the theory. I'm really not. But it does seem a little unclear. Like when Shanks goes to Elbaf, when exactly did he get there? When exactly did he come back? It seems very unclear, especially like how much time did he spend there? Did he go there for an hour? Did he go there for a day? 6 hours? 3 hours? I think it's like really unclear. The time, the sequence of events. Even across the One Piece story, it's kind of tricky to realize how long the Straw Hats have been on Wano. You can't give a quick answer. You have to think for a second. Wait, how long was that? Then they were building up to the Flower Festival. You know, you have to actually sit. So all throughout the One Piece story, it's tricky to decipher how long the Straw Hats were at certain islands. How long were they at sea? You have to go back and reread. So in terms of Shanks being on Elbaf, I do think that's largely unclear. Lone Sigma said humans lived in Elbaf. The mother Caramel was there for a long time. You know what just occurred to me? Wait a second, chat. Hold on.
Let him
Hold on.
Let him
This
cook
might
now.
be this theory is either going to be complete trash because you could debunk it instantly, or this theory is going to be a complete fire. Hear me out. Hear me out, chat. Hear me out. This is either going to be trash and you guys are going to debunk it instantly, or this is going to be fire. What if the reason the One Piece world says that giants live for at least 100 years is because when you're on Elbaf, the time is cut in half. So if a giant spent 50 years living in Elbaf and he left in the world, he would then be 100 years old. Think about it. Think about it. Think about it, chat. Dancer 1 snuck onto Bohemian Grove, but YouTube took his videos down. Are they on Rumble? Lone Sigma, did he put it on Rumble? Bruh, that's, I have been saying, Door Handle, you've been saying that? Shout out to you. I'm sorry. If I didn't see the message, I didn't see it. Door Handle, you know I would have shouted you out, bro. I didn't see the message. I apologize. But hey, be happy, Door Handle. We're on the same wavelength then. Be happy. Me and you, we're on the same wavelength. Can anyone debunk that? Amuni, what's good, King? How you doing, bro? How's the child, bro? How's your girl? How's the family, Amuni? I'm genuinely curious, Amuni. Guys, can anyone debunk that? Or is there any character that you can use to disprove? Tell me. I don't want to push a theory that you can debunk instantly. If you were not here for it, let me say it again. At the end of 1132, we see how there's a warning to not spend too much time on Elbaf. What if that warning about not spending too much time on Elbaf, not staying on Elbaf too long, is because on Elbaf, time moves at half the speed, which would mean that if Luffy spent 2 weeks in Elbaf, he would leave Elbaf and a month in the overworld has passed by a month. Moreover, this would explain why giants live to 100 years, 150 years, 200 years. The reason why they live that long is because on Elbaf, the time is cut in half. So if a 50-year-old, if someone was born in Elbaf and they lived to be 50 and then they left Elbaf, people could perceive them as 100 years old because of that. Someone let me know, is this garbage or gas? Can this be proven or disproven? If you mean non-giants, the plot point only matters once the Straw Hats leave, which is highly unlikely. The Straw Hats could realize this. They could learn of this on Elbaf. That would be like this, what's the word I'm looking for? That would be the, what's the word? It would make, that would make the arc and the island unique. That would be the, chat. What's the word I'm looking for? You know, like how every island, every arc has their own little trope. They have their own little, what's the word I'm thinking of? Because this whole time dilation thing, this whole time differential, that would make Elbaf unique aside from Land of the Giants. Guys, what's the word I'm thinking of? That would be the gimmick. Is that what the word I'm thinking of? That would be the gimmick of Elbaf. All right, guys, let's continue with the spoilers. Okay, they arrive to a massive spring water so large that it looks like a sea. Over the warrior spring, we see a huge house on top of an enormous branch. There are some waterfalls falling down from the branch to the spring. Nami is in shock. Nami says, spring? That's a whole beach. Gerd says, that's right. Parts of the tree have fossilized and weathered, creating the sand here. The tides don't rise and fall, but we do have waves created by waterfalls. Nami says, it's basically a sea. Luffy says, all right, let's go meet that guy. Nami grabbing Luffy's face. Wait, Robin's reunion comes first. So cute. So cute. Yo, this sisterly love between Nami and Robin, it's honestly underrated, bro. We need more of that sisterly love. Robin says, oh, my heart is racing. Robin, this is going to be so beautiful, Robin. Reuniting with Saul. Her heart is racing. Suddenly, a giant girl runs at them, shouting that Saul has fallen down and he's not moving, indicating that Saul is on the beach. All Straw Hat crew members are shocked, but as Robin sees what happened, she laughs. Robin says, how silly. Robin walks through the beach, and we see that Saul is lying face down on the beach. As Robin gets close to Saul smiling, he raises his head and roars at her. It's exactly the same scene as their first meeting in 392. Oh my. We are going to cry reading this chapter. This is going to be so beautiful, this reunion. And Kai, I'm telling you, bro, Kai, chat, we're going to get all of this emotion. We're going to get all of this love, all of these heartfelt chapters and panels. Then Saul is going to grab Robin. He's going to grab the Straw Hats, pull them to the library, and we're going to get an info dump. Okay? Be prepared. And we got Door Handle with his first ever super chat. Thank you so much, bro. Thank you for the one. Door Handle with his first ever super. Thank you, bro. Appreciate it. Jordan says, some people called Saul collapsing a prank as a callback. W callback. WTF happens? My speech, yo, I'm never effing doing this again. Wait, what do you mean? What, did it not leave? Did you type a message? It didn't leave a text message? Because it should always let you leave a text message. The gimmick of Elbaf is set up to be a giant race with a warrior, or no, a giant race with a culture of war. I cannot read. The gimmick of Elbaf is set up to be a giant race with a culture of war. That's kind of bait and switch from Oda. You don't think he's going to do that kind of bait and switch? I don't think it's that far-fetched, like a time dilation, a time differential thing. I don't think it's that wild. I was thinking that the reason, what's good, Jonathan? I was thinking that the reason why you don't want to stay in Elbaf is because of the large creatures. If you land on Jurassic Park, are you gonna stay for the weekend or get the F out of there? Yeah, but it seems like when you look at how Oda depicted that scene of not staying too long in Elbaf, the screen goes black, the page goes black, it's just a big dialogue box right there. It seems to be something alluding to something greater than, oh, strong creatures. You know, we also have Luffy running around, this Yonko, right? Luffy has Gear 5, right? Luffy now has his Sun God Nika powers. We have Zoro with his monstrous strength. We got Sanji. I just think these monstrous creatures on Elbaf, sure, they're strong. Yeah, they're strong. They could fight the fodder of the crew, right? But it seems like that seems a bit underwhelming compared to how Oda depicted the end of 1132. I think what Oda's trying to build up for is something much more important to the plot than, say, strong creatures, you know? But that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. We'll see. Greg, how you doing, brother? How you doing, man? How you doing, bro? What's up, y'all? You're talking like what Joy Girl was theorizing? I have no clue what she was theorizing. What was she saying? I think it's because eventually the giants who like to fight will challenge you. Maybe. But that just feels underwhelming. Guys, should I pull it up? You guys want me to pull up 1132? You guys want me to pull up 1132? I'm telling you, the depiction at the end of the chapter, guys, take my word for it, man. I've read this story. I've read the manga front to back, cover to cover so many times. I've reread arcs so many times. This depiction at the end of 1132, it's just, this is not like a normal average thing. This is building up to something great. Look at this. Look at how Oda chose to illustrate this. A pure black background. Do not overstay your welcome here. Let this be a warning. It's like talking about how it's like the same kind of illustration. Remember towards the beginning of Egghead where they were warning about Vegapunk dying? It's ominous. Exactly, it's ominous. And I feel like, oh, it's strong creatures. It's big strong creatures. It's like that's what you're building up for. We literally knew Elbaf was filled with giants since Little Garden. We've known for 1,000 chapters Elbaf has strong warrior pirates giants. We've known that. It just seems very underwhelming, and this is something that sticks out like a sore thumb. I don't think it's going to be something of physical nature, like a monster, some kind of threat, some kind of giant, some kind of enemy. I think it's going to be something more intangible. But that's just my opinion. All right, guys, let's continue. Robin drops the ellipses. Saul says, raw, did she. Robin says, your laugh is still weird. Saul says he's too awkward and didn't know what kind of face to make. So he tried to prank to surprise Robin. Then we have an emotional conversation between Robin and Saul. He says how much Robin looks like her mother and that Vegapunk has relayed the voice of Ohara to people of the world. After that, we see a flashback panel where we see what happened with Saul after Ohara's incident. Saul explains that he woke up already in the sea, so he assumed that the massive fire that destroyed Ohara melted to the ice where he was imprisoned. Because of this, he suffered burning wounds all over his body. We see that Saul has some scars on his face and body. Robin says, that is on the top of Saul's hands, stop Saul's speech. Robin says, I don't want to talk about depressing things anymore. Saul, please praise me for being alive this long. Saul hugs Robin while he's laughing. Saul says, there she. That's what she said, and of course I shall. A child of that age chased by the entire world. You have done well, Robin. Well done, surviving that whole 22 years and coming all this way. We see another flashback panel with Kid Robin crying under the rain while in the present Robin and Saul cry with emotion and joy. Robin's flashback says, why do I have to live, Mommy? Professor, Saul, I want to die already. I don't want to live anymore. Robin in the present says, I missed you so much, Saul. Saul says, Dada, she, me too. Chapter ends with all the Straw Hat crew crying with funny faces while they see Robin and Saul reunion. Only Luffy, Zoro, and Jinbei are not crying. In the last Panel of the chapter, we see Luffy smiling and very happy for Robin's happiness. End of chapter, break next week. And those are the spoilers, guys. And that is the spoilers. Man, what do we rate? What do we rate this, guys? What do we rate the long summary? If your theory is true, how old is Big Mom and Mother Carmel? I have no idea, because Big Mom, she was brought to Elbaf. How long did she spend on Elbaf? We would have to look at the flashback. It was around chapter 860. I don't know how long she spent there to begin with. Kai says, I think the penalty for lingering is more than just tough wildlife. Exactly. Exactly, Kai. The penalty for lurking and lingering on Elbaf has to be something more important, something more ominous than strong creatures. Seems very underwhelming. Wait, you were theorizing about Big Mom and Mother Carmel? Well, Greg, the core of it is that the ominous warning at the end of 1132 is that on Elbaf, time moves slower. So this would cause a lot of side effects. Maybe there's certain giants that are 100 years old only because they spent 50 years on Elbaf, half the speed. They left Elbaf, they're in the overworld, and now they're perceived as 100. Assuming that Elbaf, the speed moves at half speed. Watch Joy Girl Theory. I'll have to watch it. I'll have to watch it soon. I was making it up, so we might be mind roping. We probably are, man. Dawn of Ascension says this chapter is rated. Is that a 100,000? Yeah, rated 100,000. Young Smokey says skibidi 10. Smokey says 9 without the reunion, 10 with it. Jordan says Mother Carmel spent 37 years on Elbaf with her, selling a kid to the world government every 2 years. Man, Mother Carmel, bro. Sick, twisted, selling kids to the world government. Mother Carmel was basically Ghislaine Maxwell. Sway says, I'm so high. Sway, man. Don't get too... What's the word? Don't get too wild. Try to be a little sober-minded. Dang, Mother Maxwell is crazy, bro. I mean, look at what Ghislaine Maxwell was doing, bro. She used to go to schools and then pull them in, dude. That is extremely sick and twisted. And Big Mom was taking kids, pulling them in, right? Selling them to the world government. You know, all these politicians, you know, all these people in high places of power, they were connected to Ghislaine Maxwell. Let me tell you, Elon Musk. Let me name one. Elon Musk. Yeah. You guys probably saw my TikTok. It's on my other YouTube channel. Elon Musk. Yes, I'm naming you Elon Musk. He was connected to Ghislaine Maxwell. There's texts between Elon and Jeffrey Epstein, where Epstein texts or emails Elon, and he asked, "Hey, did you go to kung fu practice with Ghislaine the other day?" And Elon responds, "Yeah, I went to kung fu practice. Thanks for checking." Smiley face. Then we have pictures of Ghislaine Maxwell with Elon. Ah, come on, dude. You know, the reason they haven't put out these flight logs and put out all this information about Epstein is, you know, they had to scrub it first. You know, Elon and Trump and co. They had to clean it up a little bit. They told the American people, they told the world, wait. Let us clean it up. Let's take us out the picture, then we'll talk about it. Let's just say I'm close friends with a federal prosecutor on the Matt Gaetz case, and it's worse than we know, man. It's worse. Matt Gaetz, that guy was in a ring, bro. You know what's crazy? You know what's insane? I was seeing people on Twitter, right? The right-wingers. I don't even know if I want to consider myself right-wing because there's too much that I disagree with. But let me tell you something. The right-wingers on Twitter, right? The right. They'll say, "Oh, the only reason they're trying to tear down Matt Gaetz is because the deep state hates Matt Gaetz. And if the deep state hates Matt Gaetz, then we know that he's a good one. He's a good guy." Wait a minute. We have Venmo proof that this man, Matt Gaetz, was sending several $100s. He was sending thousands of dollars to these women, to these girls, these younger girls, just because you're cute. I like you. Sending them thousands of dollars. And then he was connected to another guy. What was his name? I think his name was Jonah or something like that. Jonah Greenberg. Greenberg. Chat, it's every single time. But it's crazy, dude. It's gotten to a point where conspiracies are so wild that if someone actually does something completely disgusting, something completely unjust and evil, there will be people saying, no, it's all fake. It's all fake, man. They actually just want to tear him down. He's a good guy. So then basically anytime someone does something bad, are we supposed to not believe it? So basically no one does anything bad. Do you like Kaido or Big Mom more? I like Kaido more. Kaido, he's that guy. Chat, who do you like more? Kaido or Big Mom? I think Big Mom is overhated. I'm not gonna lie. Elon is the most controlled opposition person. I mean, he's literally trying to tell people to get a microchip in their brain. Dude. Listen, if you have some sort of disability, listen, I can understand that. I'll be lenient. I get that. I understand. But if you're just a normal guy, normal girl, chat, do not get a microchip in your brain. At the end of the day, what scares me about Trump is that dude always says one thing and does another, claims Christ, but also said he's never asked God for forgiveness. Trump is not... Listen, I'm not necessarily supposed to speak on someone's relationship with God. I'm not supposed to be condemning someone to hell, right? I'm not supposed to be doing that. That's up to God and them. I'm not supposed to do that. If you want me to share solely my opinion without necessarily condemning people, Trump is not Christian, chat. He's not Christian, dude. He's telling Israel to finish the problem. That is not Christian behavior. He's trying to build the third temple of Jerusalem. That is not Christian behavior. It's not. And you've seen many clips of people asking Trump if he believes in Jesus. How does he see Christianity? Does he go to church? He completely runs away from the question. It's so strange. It's so strange. You would not run away from... A Christian is not going to run away from the question. Hey, do you think Jesus is the one and true God? Well, some people, let me tell you about how I became a billionaire. Why are you running away from the question? Chat, you want to know how someone is a demon or how someone's holy and someone's evil? Look at the fruits. Jesus told you. It's easy. Look at the fruits. A good tree produces good fruits. An evil, wicked tree produces evil fruits. Trump does not produce fruits of the spirit. And again, I'm not God. It's not my place necessarily to say he's going to hell. He's not a real Christian. Look, I get that. It's just, we need to be calling out these false prophets. We need to call out these fake leaders. He is not a good representation at all. He's not. Trump is the Antichrist. So here's my thing, right? When I talk about the Antichrist and I talk about end times, I want to stay biblical, because when we talk about the end times, that people are generally referring to the biblical prophecies, right? As stated through Jesus's own words in the Gospels, Daniel, a little bit of Isaiah, the book of Revelations is biblical, right? So one thing I want people to understand about the Antichrist, I think this is a very, very important point. Okay, chat? Listen, I think this is a very, very important point because we all like to talk about end times and the Antichrist and whatever. I want you guys to listen. According to where we all talk about the end times and Antichrist, the Bible, the origins of this whole thing, it says that the Antichrist is he himself is making a peace treaty with Israel. Okay? So if the Antichrist is from Israel and he's a Jew, that would mean that the Antichrist makes a peace treaty with himself and Israel. That doesn't make any sense. If the Antichrist is Trump, and we know that Trump reigns from America, Americans and the USA is the biggest goyim. America is the biggest Shabbos goy of all time to the Jews in Israel. Okay? So that's why I would say that Trump wouldn't be the Antichrist. And that's not to say, oh, he's a hero, he's a savior. No, he's not. But you have to look at it from that perspective. The Antichrist makes a peace treaty with Israel. Well, if Trump and America, look at AIPAC, are just filled with Shabbos goys, bending down, being the dogs of Israel since the World War II. It wouldn't really make sense that Trump, being the president of the USA, makes a peace treaty with Israel. That doesn't make any sense. And we know that this peace treaty takes place towards the end when the Antichrist begins to rise. That's when it takes place. And the US has been subjected to Jews and Israel for a very long time. So that's why I would argue that the Antichrist is probably not American, and he's probably not Jewish from Israel. He's probably from somewhere else. So I just want you guys to take that into account, okay? And this is not me defending Trump. I don't like him. There's certain things, yeah, I'm glad you said that, but whoever it was, I forgot who said it. They were saying that Trump says one thing and does another. That's completely true. His whole first campaign was about building the wall and lowering immigration, but now he wants to staple green cards to diplomas. He never finished completely building the wall. That was his whole thing. We need to lower immigration, build the wall. Why didn't you finish then? So to me, it's just, Trump is just trying to appease people. He's trying to grift to the Christians because he knows that a lot of Americans are Christian. He's trying to grift. He wants the votes. He would never turn his back on his masters. We know who his masters are. Exactly. Thank you so much. The fruits are so much more important. He has 0 fruits. He has very little fruits. You know, Kai, you've probably seen that clip of Trump where they were asking Trump, they were like, yo, Trump, we see that you are selling Bibles. What are your favorite Bible verses? Oh, well, that's something that I don't want to talk about. You know, that's something very personal to me. Why are you running away from the question? That's so weird. Dude, I'm sorry, chat. No Christian would do that. You guys saw how the other day when we were streaming, someone asked me what my favorite Bible verses were, and I answered immediately, and I was asking chat. We were all talking about our favorite verses. We're excited to do that. He runs away from the question. Chat, open your eyes, man. Open your eyes. That's not fruits of the Spirit. That is very, very strange. We know who he serves. Let's just admit it, man. We're not trying to condemn an entire group of people per se, but we know when it comes to the rulers, they're all the same, right? That's all I'm saying. It's easier to pass a camel through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven. Exactly. Jesus Christ, man. Jesus never lied, bro. He never lied. Because the rich man is so obsessed and they cling to their properties, to their land, to their servants, to their private jets, to their bank account. They're enslaved to their possessions. When in reality, God made you. God made your possessions. God owns your possessions. The rich man, he wants to keep these earthly, fleshly desires, these earthly possessions, not listening to Christ. Jesus tells us, and the Gospels tells us that you should how do they word it exactly? They say don't seek the possessions of the earth where vermin will come to destroy, but seek the treasures that are in heaven where vermin do not go and destroy. That's the problem with the rich people. They sacrifice too much of the Spirit. They sacrifice too much of generosity and charity and devoting yourself to the Lord to chase these earthly possessions, these earthly fleshly desires. And this is exactly why the cause of the wage of sin is death. We need to crucify our flesh. We need to kill our flesh. We need to deny ourselves and pick up our cross. Kai says, I don't mind judging on the fruits of the Spirit. I'll never judge a man in hell. I don't believe in a punishment that harsh, which is why God won't send me there. I think it's completely up to free will. You have the choice. Do you want to be with God or do you not want to be with him? Because you look at it this way. If you want to be with him, then you're going to be in the light. You're going to be in all things that are good, all things that are love, all things that are beauty, because God is love. God is light. So he's saying, I want you to be with me. I'm going to send you Christians. I'm going to send you the Bible. I'm going to show you all my signs. It's clear that there's a God. I wrote it on your heart. You can see it in nature. Please, I want you to come to me. That way you could live with me and you could live with everything that's good. Well, if you don't have to, but if you don't want to, you're going to go where I'm not, because I live somewhere somewhere. Where I live is heaven. That's why it's called heaven. It's all things that are good and all things that are love. But if you don't want to be with me, then that's your own free will. You could be where I'm not. And that's why hell is more about the isolation from God. And that's why hell is so bad, because that's not where God is. So do you want to be with him or do you not want to be with him? It's all up to you. Al says, of course I walk into a segue. Who baited him this time? Hey, I mean, we always get baited, but we enjoy these rants. These are like the best conversations. You see how we're all going back and forth? That's why the Jays are rich. Man, we got rich Chinese people, we got the rich Muslims, we got the rich white people, we got the rich Jews, we got the rich cartel members in Mexico. A lot of rich people just extorting and exploiting other people. But if you want to come down, if you really want to get to the nitty gritty and talk about the Illuminati, the deep state, they are all of one team. They're all of one team every single time. The forerunners of LGBTQ, the forerunners of abortion, the forerunners of corn, they're all the same. The forerunners of 9/11, the forerunners of, I'm not going to say that one, but the people trying to push extreme diversity to ruin the identity of a nation and people. All sorts of things, man. Do you know Emu is transgender? That would make sense because Baphomet is transgender. Baphomet, Satan, essentially, he's man and woman, right? Do you know, or yeah, I read that one, 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. I like all that. I just don't like the strongest hegemonic forces in human history. Do you like extreme diversity? See, the diversity conversation gets tricky because all humans are made in the image of God, right? Black people and white people and Asians and Mexicans and Jews, we're all equal to each other. No one is inherently better than the other. And plus, we're all sinners. So if a white guy and a black girl wanted to get together, they're following God. There's no law against race mixing. Right? There's no law against that, and vice versa. Black guy, white girl, black guy, black girl, white guy, whatever, any race. We're supposed to be equally yoked with other believers. That's who we should be marrying. Because look at Solomon marrying all these women that weren't of God, and then he lost his relationship with God. But see, I think with the diversity where it gets tricky is that you'll have a country, you'll have a nation that has an identity. And when you begin to push many different ideas and many different identities, it begins to become diluted, right? And it loses its identity. Because think about it, right? Having an identity is there's attributes about you that you can point to. But if there's all of these different things in your identity and they all conflict with each other, then what is your identity then? It's almost like you don't have an identity then. So there was a certain person who, back in the day, he was like, hey, I'm running this country and our identity, it's this country and we want to keep this identity because this is who we are and we're proud of who we are. And there was a group of people that said, no, we're going to push transgenderism. We're going to push bestiality. We're going to push all this stuff. And this guy didn't like that. And it was like, hey, listen, I'm burning these books. Look at all the transgender stuff. You literally wrote about bestiality. You're bringing a drug epidemic. You're pushing this. You're trying to dilute our identity. You're ruining our identity. And he said, all right, fine. You guys can either work or you guys get kicked out and expelled. And he kicked them out. And the people in power didn't like that. And they started making up some lies. They started saying, no, he's actually trying to eradicate us. No, he has rooms to do this and that. And look what happened to him. And look what happened to America. America, it has pretty much lost this identity. It's just a mix of everything. How do you describe America's identity? And they want to do that to all sorts of nations, especially white Christian nations. So that's the problem with diversity, you know? I don't like when people are extreme with it and they're saying like, oh, so you don't want a black guy and a white girl to get together? Be equally yoked with other believers. There's nothing in the Bible that goes against that. There's neither Jew nor Greek. There is neither male nor female, for we are all one under Christ Jesus, right? So it's a careful balance. Bro, do you know Jesus is not his real name? Do you know Jesus is a Roman name? Well, I know that his name is Yeshua. That's what they would call him. We just refer to it as Jesus. But I want to know where you're going with that. Evil is the pastor of the OP community. You see me as the pastor? In Japanese, they use male honorifics for emu. Yeah, that's true. Damon, that's true. Male honorifics for emu. And you know, well, I don't know if you know, Damon, maybe you missed the streams. I've spoken on that a lot. I've pulled out several different comments about how in the Japanese manga, emu speaks in a male dominating tone that you see in other characters, as well as they refer to emu as emu, I think it's emu gu, and gu is for man. Whereas Madame Shalria of the Celestial Dragons, they refer to her as Shalria Se, or is it Shalria Gu? It might be they refer to her as Shalria Gu because she's a woman, and they refer to Emu as Emu Se because he's a man. It's one or the other. But yeah, Emu is definitely this idea of a man. L with the 333. Thank you, King. He says, Mr. 3 at Little Garden, Holy Nights, number 3 will arrive. Oh. Hey, Holy Nights number 3, Holy Night number 3 comes to mimic Mr. 3. And Mr. 3 was serving Crocodile. He was a subordinate to Crocodile. So if Holy Night number 3 comes, he's serving Garling or serving Emu. Hey. L, you might be onto something. Again, we've spoken on this. I like the idea of the Holy Knights coming to Elbaf so that we can build them up and create hype for the final war. Just like how we had Gorsei arrive on Egghead to build up Gorsei hype for the final war. Thank you for the super chat, L. If Jesus is the supreme God and a person believes in the supreme God, does it matter what we call him? That's tricky. I mean, because some people might say it's Yehoshua. Some people might say it's Yeshua. Some people might say it's Jesus. And that to me is like minor differences. But if you say like, no, his name isn't Jesus, it's actually Krishna, then I think that's taking it too far. And I think people have to be honest with themselves. I don't think all of these great deities are the same, right? If you get to the nitty gritty, there's important things that Jesus said about himself and about the world that are completely the opposite of, say, Allah in Islam, right? For an example, we see in Christianity, God loves all people and everyone can be the child of God. But in Islam, it's shirk if you refer to Allah as your father. And in the Quran, it says that the greatest relationship you could have with Allah is slave to master relationship. So this idea that the God of the Bible and the God of Islam is the same is completely untrue. That's just completely dishonest. And I think you would only say that if you don't know about that. You don't know about the contradictions, and you don't believe in the law of non-contradiction, right? And I've given this example multiple times before. You either think that your phone is on or your phone is off. It's one or the other. And there's countless things that you see and say, let's for an example, things that you see in the Quran, that is a complete contradiction from what you see in the Gospels. The same thing with what Jesus said in the Gospels compared to, let's say, Buddhism and these other beliefs that believe reality is an illusion. I don't believe reality is an illusion, because if someone is suffering, you could just essentially say, hey, your suffering is not actually real. It's just an illusion. And I don't think anyone wants to hear that, because it's just not true, you know? It's just not true. Like, imagine you lost a loved one and someone was like, hey, I know you feel terrible and you're heartbroken and you're destroyed, but that's not real. It's just an illusion. Like, you know, inside it's written on your heart, because God wrote it on your heart, that that's just not true. So yeah, I think we just have to be honest, you know? Some religions, they have certain beliefs that are completely opposite of other ones. They cannot be the same God. Either one of them is true and the other one's false, or they're both false. There's no way that they could both be true in the same way at the same time. It just doesn't work like that. The law of non-contradiction, you know? Kai said, if Jesus was, okay, we read that one. I'm just saying he was named Jesus by the Romans, the one who killed him, and at the behest of the Jays. I know I agree with you. Some people have a very specific view of God from a cultish standpoint. Yeah, we got to be careful with this whole cult ideology, because one of the biggest messages about the Gospels and just Christianity is not only loving your neighbor, but loving your enemy. Forgiving others, unconditional forgiveness. That's not necessarily forgiveness in the context of reconciliation, but forgiveness in your heart, and that's very important. And I think like this idea of hating your enemy, not loving your enemy, begins to create this cult behavior. You know? Do you think aliens exist? I've always been a huge fan of aliens. When I was a kid, I used to sneak on my dad's laptop when early in the morning before school. I would have to leave the house at like 7:30 to go to school. I would get up at like 6 or 7, 6:45, 6:30. And I would go and watch all the UFO videos. I would look up aliens and Area 51 and Bob Lazar. I've always been interested in aliens, and I've always had to wrestle with the whole idea of them. What are they? And before I found Christ, I learned through Jacques Vallée and all of his theories. And I read a little bit of his books, not too much. I never completed a book, but his general idea is that aliens are the same thing as forced spirits, angels, demons, all of these visions of like these interdimensional spiritual beings that humans have seen for thousands of years. It's actually the same thing. And this entity that's in a dimension above us changes itself, and it masquerades itself into something that we can relate to, something that we can connect to, something that we can perceive, something that we can understand, something that's ahead of us. So I think when it comes down to it, through my faith and belief, that these aliens are actually demons. And we see a lot of, I mentioned this earlier, we see a lot of UFO alien encounters, these alien abductions and stuff like that, where the person invokes the name of Jesus and the alien flees, the alien is scared. And I think the reason why is because Jesus Christ is God, and these aliens are actually demons. And I think the biggest reason why these aliens are around is because the demons are trying to manipulate people and move them away from God. Because a lot of people, if you believe in aliens and UFOs, you start to move away from the Bible, you move away from the Gospels, and you move away from the truth. You move away from God, and that's the ultimate objective of Satan and demons, to pull you away from God. And it's kind of funny, because in a sense it's contradictory, because I think there are a lot of people who then started to find Christ and began to believe in God and spirits and angels and demons, because of how these aliens and how these spirits over time have masqueraded themselves. But that's my whole take on it. Do you like Bigfoot? I've never been into Bigfoot, bro. I've never been into Bigfoot. True AF. Everybody has a chance at heaven. These demons don't want you in his glory. That's why they trick you into sin. Exactly. They trick you and manipulate you into sin, and they feed you the enjoyment. They feed you the pleasure of sin. And I think the reason why a lot of people want to like create this logic as to why they don't believe in God, or this logic as to why they don't believe in Jesus and the Gospels, I think the reason that they create this whole logical framework, excuse, if one would want to say, is because they enjoy their sin. They know that if they had to admit that Jesus was Lord and become a Christian, then that means they would have to deny themselves. Whereas the world tells you, no, live for yourself, be proud of yourself. But let's be honest, there's certain things about us, there's certain things about me that are not holy, certain things that are sinful, certain things that are wrong. But this world doesn't want you to believe that. They want you to embrace who you are. Just be yourself, right? But by being a Christian, you have to deny yourself, and you have to die daily. I die daily. So that means no sex with just everyone whenever I want, no getting drunk all the time, no cursing all the time. They love that sin, and they live deep into that sin. The ocean of sin is above their nose. It's right under their eyes. They don't want to get out of the water. So, they have to create reasons as to why they don't believe in God or the Bible. I think it's not a head thing. I think it's a heart thing. And the reason that I could speak on this is because I've seen countless videos on this, and plus I was one of those people. But anyways, chat, I think we're gonna call it here, guys. It's been a phenomenal stream. It's been a great stream, chat. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for you guys sharing me your opinions. Thank you for these discussions, these debates. I like going back and forth with you guys, seeing how you guys view the world, how you guys view theology, how you guys view God, how you don't view him, how you guys view One Piece, Elbath, Song. These streams are truly fulfilling to me. It fills my spirit. It fills me on the inside. Guys, I love you tremendously. Always remember, guys, these are my opinions. I hope to lead you guys. That's my ultimate desire, to bring you guys to Christ. But ultimately, I want you guys to understand that I'm not forcing anything onto you guys. You guys have your own free will. You are human. Don't just believe everything I say just because I'm a YouTuber. That's ridiculous. But with that being said, chat, love you guys all. Love you guys tremendously. Everyone have a nice morning, day, or night, wherever you guys are. Guys, stay strong. Keep your chin up. Guys, make sure you get some food. Fill your belly. Try to get some good, healthy food. No McDonald's, chat. No McDonald's, Greg. No pub sub. I'm probably going to go get a pub sub, but you ignore that. You know pub sub. Smokey, no McDonald's. Dawn of Ascension, no Shake Shack. Eat healthy, guys. Drink water. Try to get some sunlight. Try to get your body moving, guys. I love you tremendously. I love you guys so much. And I want you guys to live a happy, healthy life with full of courage and strength and resilience. I want to see you guys have beautiful careers, beautiful families, live happy, and just be great leaders, great men, and great women. I want the best for you guys, no matter what, no matter how much we disagree with each other in debate. Who cares? I still love you at the end of the day, guys. Have a nice day. Amuni, you're a great father. I love you, bro. Take care of yourself, guys. Jordan, Damon, Greg, Simon, Eric, Keith, Kai, L.